we don't believe because these cryptids are not in our sight. Are they as real as the birds, snakes, and frogs? We seek these answers here at Upright Dogs. Come join us if you dare.
What's up, Cryptic Crowd? Welcome to another edition of Upright Dogs. I'm Cody. How's it going out there? Hey, I'd like to take a minute before we get started here and as some of my older subscribers, and I don't mean that literally, come on now. I'm 51, just turned it on the 15th of this month. But my older subscribers, which is around 40 something I think, probably noticed that my channel has spiked within the last week. Thanks YouTube, it's been a long time waiting. And I'd like to welcome all 240 something new subscribers. Welcome. Hope you enjoy this channel because we're going to start getting into some nitty gritty content soon. Something else I would like to add before I get going too hot and heavy on today's topic. I'm sure you noticed my last video was put out about 4 weeks ago. Well, I kind of been, as I mentioned in my comment down there, my fiance of 9 years kind of left me last week, and things have been kind of, spiraling down before she left, but she finally left. So, and leaving, she left me like 2 months to come up with $1,000 to pay rent here and various other bills. So I've really been trying to focus on work, trying to get more work in. But I'm an installer for Lowe's, so trying to grab some side work, some extra work and all that to make it happen, because she didn't leave me alone. With that being said, yeah, she didn't leave me alone, and I had to come up with all these bills. Y'all know how that is. So yeah, if you want to, I really hated even having to put it up, but I wanted to go ahead and get y'all up to speed. This green screen that's operating behind me that you don't see right now, I'm probably just going to have to sell it to help make ends meet on this bill. So my next couple videos may just have my typical in the green walls in the background, or I might try to do something outside. I'm really fishing for 1,000 subs. I hope this 1,000 subs comes in pretty quick, because once I get them 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subs, then I can go live, and that's when content's really going to get kicking, because I've got some things lined up to carry y'all out in the field while we do Dogman research. Should be awesome. I'm going to try to get some people to assist me, but I've got heat cameras and all this good stuff that hopefully we can find clues or see something, but yeah, there's a couple things I'm going to have to sell. I've got a drone that I really hope I don't have to sell. I mean, that thing, it's awesome. But I may have to, so y'all just bear with me. Hopefully I'll be able to build that stuff back up. But you know what they say, you gotta one step forward, 2 steps back, right? I did start a donation, PayPal donation, and I hated even having to put that up there. It's there if you want to utilize it. If not, these are hard times we're in, I understand. Anyway, without further ado, let's move on to today's content. Okay, I have for you two more little stories, if you will. One of them comes from a friend of mine, and I've heard it so many times I just about know it by heart. He said it's okay to mention his name, so I'll mention his first name, not his last name. Okay, so here we go. So Brad is his name. Brad was going on a big camping trip with some of his friends back in the mid-90s, right? And they had four-wheel drive Jeeps, etc. That's been going on a long time, boys. Because four-wheeling is top of the line. But there was I don't know, 2 or 3, four-wheel drives during this whole thing, and they were going out in the woods of Mississippi, and kind of it was more like it was private property, but Brad knew the guy that owned it, to give them permission to go and camp on it, and it had this pretty big pond on it, and bass fishing in that pond was supposed to be phenomenal, right? So that's mainly why they were going, just go camp, have a few beers, do some bass fishing, etc. So he said they got out there the first day, and they set up camp. All of them got there about 3:15, something like that, and they just went ahead and started setting their tents up, because this is like approaching summer, but still kind of in the late spring. So, the whole turning dark thing was right there. So, the time it turned dark. So everybody got their tents set up, and they went ahead and fired the grill up. They were pretty hungry because they had been driving about an hour and a half, something like that, and they fired the grill up, throw some dog stuff on it, and did a little fishing in the pond. And nighttime rolled around. They gathered, let me backtrack a little bit. They went and gathered firewood just before dark, after they got fishing. So they went ahead and accumulated as much wood as they could, because they was going to be there a couple nights. So once they got done fishing, they got back and went ahead and started the fire. And they were all sitting around drinking a beer, shooting the breeze, and they went to bed. Brad says and he says to the letter, he woke up at 3:17, because that's he looked at his watch. It was 3:17 a.m. when the exact moment he looked at it, and 2 seconds later, he heard a snarl outside the tent, which was probably, he was assuming about 30 to 40 yards, give or take. So he was guessing how far it was, but if you're good with distance like that, then it's probably pretty accurate, accurate enough. And he said he heard a snarl, and it was, he never heard that kind of snarl before. Now Mississippi used to have black bears, and they're still there, but they're like far few and in between. You just don't hardly see them. If you do see them, it's almost like a daggone blessing, Now, I live in Texas now, so you Mississippi folks, if you're seeing them more now, please share that in the comments, because I haven't been in Mississippi since 2011. So, anyways, he said the snarl was like he never heard it like that before. He said it almost sent chills down his back. And oh yeah, Mississippi boys, yeah, they were packing. But he said he didn't get up. He laid back down, went back to sleep. So next morning I got up, they threw some coffee on the fire, and he said he was curious if, whatever had been that over there that 30 or 40 yards and did that snarl. He was curious, so he walked over to the direction he, heard it coming from, and looked around. Didn't see anything at first. He did find some hair, a little clutch of hair that was like, if something walked by a stick and snatched it off or whatever. Now, nobody's really thinking about Bigfoot or Dogman. So, he just didn't know. Maybe that's just maybe something. Maybe it was a bear that was not feeling good, or there was something wrong with it. His body snarl, and he wasn't sure. He just know he never heard it before, and it had this eerie sound about it. So he found this little thing of hair, but he didn't keep it. He passed it off because he said it was like a brownish black, So, I think he probably went ahead and chalked it up as a bear, but he never found no tracks, He didn't find anything like that. So that's what he did. He said he just dropped it, So they went on through the day, did their little thing all day, did a little four-wheel, went back fishing some more, and dust rolled around the next night, and they started cooking some hamburgers and stuff, and this time, all of them heard this. This time it's no closer than 100 yards away from them. So they're all kind of gathered around a fire, so if you had to pick one of them, let's imagine that we're sitting behind the person that's facing north, right? So the sound would have came at 2 o'clock. The person facing north, 2 o'clock. So, and it was no closer than 100 yards. It was a growl. So that freaked everybody out, because they heard, like I said, they heard it all at the same time. And they got their lights, they got their guns, and they went out looking for it. And they had one of them had remember the big 9-volt flashlights, which I think they still make them, but back then, that if you had a 9-volt flashlight, you had to shit nip. Because they're not like now. Flashlights and stuff right now are phenomenal. Back then, that 9-volt flashlight, that was it. That's the shit nip aside from a plug-in spotlight, But they took it and they went and looked. They went and looked at the woods. They almost did it like a grid search. One of them old boys was military, and so he fanned them out, and right, left, and spaced them out a little bit, and everybody walked forward, and as they walked, they looked to their left, looked to their right, vice versa, and scanned the ground as they walked. And so, sure enough, something scuttled on up. They done, like, imagine 100 yards, so they done walked about 40 yards in, but it was no closer than 100 yards. So they don't walk 40 yards in, so they walk closer to where it was. So I think Brad said one of them saw it, and so you take, imagine the 40 yards. So they come in on this thing 40 yards or so, and it was out another 70, I think, or something like that. Because when they were shining the light, there was a little clearing, enough of a clearing that you could make out that distance, guessing, of course. you know, I'm assuming he went by the distance of that light. Now, it may have went 70 yards. I don't know. You know, it's possible, but I'm assuming he's judging by the distance of that light, blah, blah. But they just caught enough of the back as it went out of sight. And it wasn't standing upright fully, but it was kind of like running, you know, like, it almost was like it was running on fours, but it wouldn't be because there was a slight arch, they said, to the back as it ran. And that pretty much spooked them enough to the point where they hopped in the trucks and left everything. It scared them, and I imagine it would scare the crap out of me. So, what, you know, who knows what it was, right? But, you know, when you hear stories, tales, and things like this, it makes you wonder, you know, just exactly what was it? A bear running on his hind legs slightly? I don't think so, you know. I mean, or, you know, it could have been standing up. I don't, you know, if you're imagining maybe it's standing up, you know, cinch something with a limb and a leaf, and then turn like, you know, and they saw it as it was coming like this, back down on all fours. I don't know. Who knows? But, you know, because the light didn't make out enough of it that they could tell, oh, that's a bear. It was the light, at the end of that light, it was just light enough to see a figure. So, but it went on, scared them, they left. So y'all leave in the comments, what do you think it could have been? Brad would have been the only one of the bunch that probably would have talked Bigfoot or something, you know, but I don't know that he did, but they just left, you know, gone out of here. But I'm just, you know, I say that because I think Brad, you know, judging by the size of that figure, probably would have figured that's a daggone Bigfoot, you know, but I don't think it was that big, is why, you know, nothing was ever said on it. But they saw it and got out. Y'all leave in the comments what you think of it. Alright, this next one comes from me again. These are things that I've penned down since I'm a kid. I never really told anybody outside of my immediate family. If there's anybody out there watching this that is from the Connersville, Mississippi area that's old enough to remember that phenomenon that went back in that happened back in the 70s, please email me. Because I must have been 16, 17 years old. And me and some friends from school were out riding around on Friday night. And how many of y'all remember the Chevy Chevette? Yeah, I had one. Yeah, man. Hey, don't knock it. That thing was actually kind of cool. It was maroon color with mirror tint on it. So it looked like the tint looked like mirrored sunglasses back then. But it was kind of cool, actually. But there was 4 of us, and we were riding around in a car. And we were out on the hill. Oh man, I can't remember the name of the hill over there for anything. It's been too long ago. All I can tell you is there used to be like a church or a Boy Scout camp of some sorts out there. And I think somebody had drowned or something at one point out in that little lake that's on that little mountain / hill, whatever. It was just outside Connersville. And back in the 70s, and this is what my stepmother told me, because when I got back in that night, she actually pulled up a newspaper article about it. And that's been too long ago. I'm 51 years old. Like I said, I was 16 or 17 years old, so I do not remember anything about that. But I do remember she pulled out that article and read about it. But the National Guard was placed out there for some reason, and they were stationed at each entry roads to that hill, and it was checkpointed. It was blocked off. You couldn't get on. And I think she was saying something about a big bottomless hole or something found on that hill. So if anybody remembers that, please get up with me, and maybe I can get you on the episode or something talking about it, because I still think about that to this day. Okay, so anyway, 4 of us are in the car, and I knew nothing about this hill, so we're riding around. A lot of it's dirt, and we come to the top of this hill, and we start going down. I looked over at the passenger and said, the car was a standard, so I put in the clutch, pushed in the clutch, let off the gas, and turned the key, just kind of reached up there and turned the key off, like, try to do it nonchalantly. You couldn't see real good in there because the dashboard lights were not too daggone bright, so I just go turn that key off, held the clutch in, rolled down the hill, and I said, crap. And they're like, what is it? And the car died. And they're like, what? And so the car, you have to understand that car. It had a little hiccup. Okay, you had, with that car, it was, I don't know, it was like cold-natured, if you will. You really had to spin it and kind of pump that gas a little bit, to get it to crank, to fire up. So I said, the car just quit for no reason. So we coasted all the way down. And just before we come to a stop, right, you notice the light up ahead. It was in the distance, it was in the distance, just ahead of us. Couldn't make out what it was. It was a little bitty light, a little orange. But, so, me and the guy in the front, we noticed it, but we didn't, at the time, we just, passed it off because we were trying to, play a joke. So, I turned the key on, didn't pack the gas, so it just kept spinning, Of course, I wouldn't hold it very long. Like, see, it won't crank, So they're all like, well, what the crap are we going to do, And somebody had already, I think it was one of the guys in the back, he'd already started telling ghost stories or something like that. And this is part of the reason that I did this. And so, we all messed and bound around with it. And I'm like, I'm just kidding, and fired up. And they're like, oh, you asshole. But, okay, so we fired it up. Now we're going, forward again. And we're getting closer to this light. Never seen anything like that in my entire life, and never have seen it again. I do not know what this was, but just to the right, off the what would be the government right away, the land there. This, what is it, 8 feet or something off? I can't remember the distance, if it's from the center road out so far or whatever. But from where the blacktop stopped, 8 feet over to the right, was a barbed wire fence line that run the length of that road. And when we got up to what this light was, it was a burning freaking stump under the barbed wire fence. The thing would put a flame up about this high. It would burn. It would shrink down, go out, and then come back on. Leaves all around the bottom of it. Nothing is on fire. Nothing. It never even get close. I don't understand. If somebody thumped a cigarette, did it land directly on the stump? And what are the chances that it's going to ignite on top of the stump that it landed on, if it does land on it? So nothing at the bottom was burnt. It was about halfway up that stump, up to the top part. It was burn a little bit, go down, out, and then back on. Let me tell you, my brothers and sisters, we didn't hang around there. After about a minute and a half of watching that, we got in that car. Then the car really started trying to act up. It crunk, but it was puh-puh when we were trying to get out of there. You know, I didn't smell gas, so I'm thinking, you know, did I flood it? But I didn't smell gas. That thing was running like crap until we got out of there. And that's when I got back to the house and talked to my stepmom about it. And then that's when she went and got that article and was reading things about that area. So please, if y'all know anything about that area, please let me know. It's Collinsville, Mississippi. It would have came out in 1970 something. Alright, so, now, I just wanted to say, stick around with me, guys and gals. I don't know how much of this, you know, the story content I'm going to be able to come up with. It really depends on anybody. I think I got a couple that are fixing to send me one. I'm either going to get them on to talk about it with me, or if they want me to leave them out of it and read it out and tell it myself, I will do that. But I want to get y'all some in-your-face, out in the field footage. So, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe so I can get that 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours so I can go live with y'all. And so, and as I mentioned before, I may have to backpedal a little bit with this separation, or this morning separation, this done, but with this split, I may have to backpedal and sell some things I've got to make ends meet, but I'll try to get it back. Like I said, worst case scenario, you know, you're just going to be seeing me video in just a room with, you know, regular walls behind me. But anyway, hit that. Oh, hit that bell. The future episodes. Subscribe if you're not already.